So after a dramatic race in the juniors, we now move on to the X30 Minis for their second qualifying heat of the day. And the man starting from pole position is a man who, let's be fair, seems to spend as much time putting funny faces at fat commentators as he does doing well around the racetrack. Yes, I am referring to myself when I mention that. Yes, Alejandro Melendez always seems to have a cheeky grin or a nice little wink or an aside for me whenever we're chatting in the paddock. And it's great to see him in pole position after what was a difficult start to the day yesterday with some mechanical difficulties. Now he is back at the front. It didn't have the greatest of races from his point of view in race one. He dropped back at the start, made his way back up to fourth place. He can be very proud of himself. So now from pole position again, he's going to have to work 10 times harder to stop that rot setting in. Alongside him on the grid, though, is his countryman and rival in his home country, Sergio Ruiz Alvarez. They have grown up together racing in the same sort of championships, so they know each other very well, and they run on the front row of the starting grid together. The local man, the Belgian Kimi Abraham, who knows the Salbris circuit very well, having raced in France and Belgium for a long time. As the youngster, he knows this place very well indeed, and considering his tender years, he seems to have an awful lot of speed around this particular part of the world. He's there in third position, just in behind Alejandro Melendez. But Miguel Pero Lizarraga, the winner of race one, and incidentally the winner at Valencia of the entire X30 Mini Winter Cup, is in fourth position. He broke through from the fourth position on the starting grid in the previous race and charged through to the victory. He's hoping to do exactly the same job again this time. All he has to do is get a convincing getaway and it's job done. Third row of the grid, Ruben Volt of Estonia and Oliver Wright of Great Britain will battle away together, with Volt running under the Dan Holland Racing colours, the Estonian, and Pineapple, Oliver Wright, in third row of the grid in sixth position on the outside. Finished third in that first race of the day and also did the same thing at the Valencia Winter Cup as well. So he's riding the crest of the wave at the moment. Nathan Ottink of Holland lines up on the fourth row of the starting grid along with the Spaniard Bogdan Brea-Earnut. Then we have on the fifth row Patrice Kovalevski of Belgium. He's there on the inside line along with Maxon Verbruch, who is in 10th position on the starting grid. And then we have Aleksander Wojcicki of Poland and Thomas Hassinen of Finland. So the drivers are going to get themselves ready for another intense battle around the circuit. Alejandro Melendez and Sergio Ruiz Alvarez on the front row of the starting grid. And it's going to be a very intense squabble up to that first corner. If the first race is anything to go by, it was an absolutely cracking start in the first one from Miguel Pero Lizarraga, and he knows what's expected of him. But Kimi Abraham was pretty feisty in that last race as well. He'll be wanting to get some quick overtaking moves done and dusted. He's got the advantage being on that inside line, which is where any race driver wants to be. It's a very coveted position to be in, so he'll want to be in that place for as long as he possibly can. But the job is not done yet, and he knows that. He needs to move his way further forward in order to maximise his potential. But Alejandro Melendez and Sergio Ruiz Alvarez from the front row of the starting grid are going to be interesting ones to watch as time moves forward. Kimi Abraham and Miguel Pero Lizarraga on the second row. Ruben Volt and Oliver Wright on the third row. All six of those drivers, in my opinion, have the ability to win this one. But don't count out the likes of Nathan Ottink, who pulled up some very exciting moves in the first part of proceedings. Back at Valencia, Bogdan Brea was very strong, and he'll be hoping that he can get that sort of pace again this time round. And then we've got Kovalevski, Verbruga, Wojcicki, and Hassinen to chase after them as well. So there's plenty of talent within this field. And in about 30 seconds' time, they'll be leaving the dummy grid and heading out onto the circuit to go racing. And every one of them is pumped up and fired up as they get themselves ready for action. It's great to see the camaraderie as well between the X30 Minis. There's only 12 of them, but there's some great friendships in that paddock, as some of them have been racing together for quite a few months now in their own domestic championships, and others have got used to chatting with some of the drivers that they race against in international competitions. So it's great to see these different drivers with different levels of experience and ability, but they're in the X30 European Mini Championship now. So let's send them out onto the circuit and see how well they do. So Alejandro Melendez will start from pole position with Sergio Ruiz Alvarez lining up second on the grid. Then Kimi Abraham and Miguel Pero Lizarraga on the second row. Ruben Volt and Oliver Wright will be on the third row of the grid from Nathan Ottink and Bogdan Brea-Earnut. Then it is Patrice Kovalevski and Maxon Verbruch with Aleksander Wojcicki and Thomas Hassinen on the 6th row of the grid. Admittedly, there's not many of them on the starting grid, but that doesn't mean the racing is boring by any stretch of the imagination. The racing is actually pretty spectacular with the X30 Minis. They've got a little bit more room to play with because the karts are slightly smaller. They're not as fast, which means they've got a little bit more time to respond to race moves. And some of them are a little bit more nervous than another driver, so if they make a mistake, it's going to be harder for them to make up the time lost. And as a result of that, we get some really exciting results over the course of proceedings. So it can get pretty intense as the day progresses, and we're hoping it's just going to continue to do so as the day moves on. So there is your man leading the field around, Alejandro Melendez. Well, he's not leading the field round on the road yet. He will slot himself back into his coveted position. The formation laps are not too strict in the world of karting. As long as you are formed up on the rolling start in your correct position, then you can take up your position in a neat and tidy fashion. But Alejandro Melendez is looking forward to seeing what he can do from pole position, and on that inside line, he will have a very strong day at the office. So as Alejandro Melendez now forms up again, they decide to form up on the entry to turn 6. They are starting to bunch up. There's only 12 of them to bunch up, of course, but that's a long time to be in cruise mode, as it were. So the drivers are going to, again, have a very interesting run to that first corner. Flat on the throttle. On the outside line, you have to be quite assertive if you're going to hold your position. So Sergio Ruiz Alvarez and Miguel Barro Lozaraga know all about that. In fact, the latter of those managed to break through to the lead, and it was a lead that he managed to sustain until the victory. So it will be an interesting one in the X30 Minis race. Lots of great talented drivers. 4 Spaniards in the field. 2 Belgians. We have the Dutchman, the Estonian, the Brit. We have 3 Belgians, my apologies. I've forgotten about Kimi Abraham. So 4 Spaniards, 3 Belgians, the Dutchman, the Estonian, the Brit, the Pole, and the Finn. But it's Melendez from Sergio Ruiz Alvarez, then Abraham, Barro Lozaraga, Volt, Wright, Otting, Bria. Here we go, out of the course, and I think this is going to be... No, they're going to do it again. They're going to do it again. So it looks to me as though they're going to have to go and do another start. Yep, yellow flags. The start was not a clean one, so they're going to have to form up again and restart. So the race is not actually underway, but the yellow flags are waving, so they're going to have to form up on the starting grid again, and there's been contact. They think the race is going on, 2 or 3 of them, but it's not actually running now, the race. They are having to take the restart. So we're still on the formation lap. We have not started, and a few drivers have actually ended up in a little bit of a war zone there as they battle away together, and a couple of them got spat out, but they should be forming up on the grid for a fresh restart. So now they are doing so, so I'm not entirely sure which of the drivers it was that got spat out. I wonder if that's, well, it looked to me as though if it was one of the FA Racing Spain cards, so that's got to be either Sergio Ruiz Alvarez or Miguel Barro Lozaraga, but we hadn't started the race, so it had got a little bit feisty. So we're going to have to be very careful about how that one works out in the final reckoning, because obviously the race has started for a few of the drivers, but it hasn't for everybody else who saw that the officials did not give the green light. So now they form up in formation again. This time they've got to be really strict with themselves. This is only the first false start we've had all day. To be fair, the start procedures have usually been pretty good, but this time they're having to be a little bit more strict with themselves, a bit more careful. They're all quite eager. They want to get the start underway. This time, I think we're going to get a clean start. That's more like it. We're racing. And it's a good start from Alejandro Melendez. This time, he's going to hold his inside line. Round the outside, Miguel Barro Lozaraga is going to lose out to his teammate Sergio Ruiz Alvarez. And it's a cracking start from Kimi Abraham, who comes through in a second position, tries to force his way past Alejandro Melendez. There's a little bit of contact, and up in the air for a couple of milliseconds goes Kimi Abraham. He now drops down behind the 2 Spaniards. He's got an opportunity to come back on Sergio Ruiz Alvarez. Miguel Barro Lozaraga's through in a second place. Kimi Abraham is there in 4th, trying to come through. Comes Sergio Ruiz Alvarez, but Alejandro Melendez leads the way. Ruiz Alvarez moves up into 2nd place. Barro Lozaraga slots back into 3rd in front of Kimi Abraham. Then it is the 913, I think that is, of Oliver Wright, the British racer, who's come up into 5th position. Out of 10, and Alejandro Melendez leads the way exactly as he wanted to. Then it's Nathan Otting has come up, I think that's the 912 has come up. So cracking starts from Wright and Otink. A little bit of a difficult one for Ruben Volt as he got held up there. But Alejandro Melendez this time gets the perfect getaway, and there's daylight between himself and Sergio Ruiz Alvarez. That's exactly what he wanted. And this time, Alejandro Melendez, stop looking back now, Alejandro. You've got to get on with this. You've got to lead with the right moves. You've got to lead going away now. You can't be looking behind you. Stop looking back, Alejandro. You've got this if you just keep pushing. Sergio Ruiz Alvarez in second place. Third is Miguel Pero Lozaraga. Fourth is Kimi Abraham. Then it's Oliver Wright. Nathan Otink is sixth. Then it's Maxime Verbruch. Ruben Volt. Thomas Hassinen is ninth. Then it's Bogdan Brea. Patrice Kovalevsky and Alexander Wachicki. Miguel Pero Lozaraga trying to make the move in a little bit of time to help Sergio Ruiz Alvarez. See, they're trying to get the gap down to Melendez. These two love working together. They know each other very well. They work well as teammates for 95% of the race. Then it's every man for himself. Alejandro, stop looking behind you, my friend. You need to keep on with this. I know it's very nerve-wracking leading a race and you put yourself in a brilliant position, but you just need to stop looking behind. They know that they've got you on the run now. You've got to just knuckle down and get on with it. Meanwhile, further back, Oliver Wright is going to get squeezed by Kimi Abraham there. So Kimi Abraham gets through into fourth position, or I should say maintains the position in fourth place, but squeezes Oliver Wright in the process. Melendez continues to lead. 5 laps to go. And here they come. Alvarez and Pero Lozaraga. They're going to go through. Melendez just about saves that one from going into the gravel. So Sergio Ruiz Alvarez leads. Pero Lozaraga's trying to come back at him now. Melendez needs to just sit behind them in third place and let this race unfold. He can do less of the work by sitting behind them now. So he needs to just let this happen. Here comes Miguel Pero Lozaraga, though, up the inside of his teammate, Sergio Ruiz Alvarez, and Alejandro Melendez gets through as well into second place. Now Melendez just needs to keep going. He's there in second place. He's split the two of them. So here they come once again. It's an MDC sandwich on FA Racing bread, as these two continue to battle away on the either side of Alejandro Melendez. So Alejandro Melendez charges his way down to the hairpin in an attempt to try and get one over on Miguel Pero Lozaraga. 3 Spaniards, 1, 2, and 3. It looks as though the next crop of international talent on the European scene is all from Spain. Here they come. Miguel Pero Lozaraga leading the way. Alejandro Melendez with an opportunity to go for him. They're trying to push away from Sergio Ruiz Alvarez. I noticed that from Melendez. He's trying to calm it down a little bit and is now focusing on getting him and Miguel Pero Lozaraga away from the guy behind. 4 laps to go. And this is going to be an interesting one. Kimi Abraham and Nathan Otink are now together in 4th and 5th. Oliver Wright is in 6th place, losing ground a little bit with Ruben Volt closing in on him, the Estonian. 8th place is Maxime Verbruch. Then it's Bogdan Brea, Patrice Kovalevsky, Thomas Hassinen, and Alexander Wachicki. And there's a battle up the move. I think that's Nathan Otink making the move on Kimi Abraham. So Otink has got through into 4th place on Kimi Abraham. If we look back, we'll see them. There they are, just on the edge of your picture there. So Nathan Otink has got his way through into 4th place, past Kimi Abraham this time by, but I think Kimi Abraham's got him straight back again. Yes, he has. So the Abraham and Otink battle continues. Abraham looks like he's defending already. We've only got 3.5 laps to go. And Alejandro Melendez trying to get away from Sergio Ruiz Alvarez there, trying to force Miguel Pero Lozaraga to go slightly further forward. Here they come, Pero Lozaraga, Melendez, Sergio Ruiz Alvarez, both of them going faster than they've done before. Fastest lap of the race for Alejandro Melendez. So he knows he's got the speed to win this one. He's just got to play the tactical game just right. Up the inside goes Otink. He moves up into 4th place. Abraham there in 5th. 6th position, that is Ruben Volt now, having got past Oliver Wright. So a good battle between those two continuing on, and it's a 4-way scrap now for 5th position. No, it's a 4-way scrap for 4th place. 8th and 9th are battling well too. That is Verbruch and Brea having a good battle. But still, these 3 tussling away. Not quite clear who's going to get the best of it. Miguel Pero Lozaraga versus Alejandro Melendez, with Sergio Ruiz Alvarez waiting in the wings. 1 more lap of this, guys, and then you can start really getting on with it, because we've got 2 laps to go at the end of this one. And that's when drivers really start to make the play for the victory. Melendez still pushing Miguel Pero Lozaraga in the draft away from Sergio Ruiz Alvarez. He doesn't want him to be close enough to challenge. These two want to get away. 2 laps to go. Alejandro Melendez right on the back of Miguel Pero Lozaraga. Miguel is defending. Oh, it's going to get very interesting between these two as Miguel Pero Lozaraga and Alejandro Melendez continue to battle away at the front of this race. Sergio Ruiz Alvarez just sitting there in 3rd place, watching it unfold. It's a 6-way squabble behind them for 4th position. But this battle between Pero Lozaraga and Melendez is just too good to watch. Melendez trying to come right round the outside of Pero Lozaraga. He's never going to make that one stick, but valiant effort nonetheless. He's now going to cut through to try and get back on the inside. Up towards 6. Melendez is giving Pero Lozaraga so much hassle. And this is the thing, he doesn't want to go for the crazy move. He wants to put Miguel Pero Lozaraga under pressure so that he makes the mistake. Melendez has got to let Miguel Pero Lozaraga do all the hard work. Here he comes again. Melendez is now moving to cover Sergio Ruiz Alvarez. Stop defending, you've got to keep on the attack. He's getting a little bit of support now from Sergio Ruiz Alvarez to close up on the man in front. But with 1 lap to go, Melendez has got to stay hungry here. He's got to stay on it. No, you're keeping Sergio Ruiz Alvarez back, but you're not in the draft of Miguel Pero Lozaraga. You guys need to work together to close up on him. You can still beat him. But Miguel Pero Lozaraga doesn't think so. He's trying to get rid of them. Melendez still there in 2nd. Sergio Ruiz Alvarez in 3rd. Oh, this is going to be an interesting run down the back straight now because Sergio Ruiz Alvarez definitely has a chance to get past him here, and he knows it. They're going to have to work together here to get closer to Miguel Pero Lozaraga. They're still trying to break the deadlock. Oliver Wright's trying to come down on the inside of Ruben Volt into turn 6 behind these 3, but he hasn't quite managed to make it stick, so it looks like Nathan Ottick is going to be safe in 4th place from Volt and Wright, but there is still time to change that. 4 of them in the battle for 7th place, led by Kimi Abraham with Verbrugge, Brea and Kovalevsky, all in the mix as well from Hassanen and Kaczynski. But now comes the big moment. Melendez is going to try and close up if he can on Miguel Pero Lozaraga, but he's not quite got close enough. It's going to be Miguel Pero Lozaraga again, but Melendez will be a valiant 2nd place. Out of the final turn, across the line, yet again, it's Miguel Pero Lozaraga. Melendez in 2nd place. 3rd is Sergio Ruiz Alvarez. 4th for Rotting. 5th place for Oliver Wright. 6th for the 927 of Ruben Volt in the end from Abraham, Verbrugge, Brea, Kovalevsky, Hassanen and Wojcicki. But a great battle there, and that's more the Alejandro Melendez we came to see. A good battle from him in 2nd place, but the winner, Miguel Pero Lozaraga, taking the victory there for the FA Racing Spain team. And it's once again an all-Spanish top 3. A fantastic lap from Alejandro Melendez, the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 9.352. But it's Alejandro Melendez who finishes 2nd this time. Miguel Pero Lozaraga gets the victory by 0.3 of a second. Sergio Ruiz Alvarez, his teammate, is 3rd, with Nathan Otting, Oliver Wright, Ruben Volt, Kimi Abraham, Maxon Verbrugge, Bogdan Brea-Ionut, Patrice Kovalevsky, Thomas Hassanen and Alexander Wojcicki finishing off the field. Wow. Another great battle from the X30 Minis. They do like to give us a bit of a show. And it's a great result once again for Miguel Pero Lozaraga. But I'm sure that Alejandro Melendez can be satisfied with knowing he put in a much, much better showing than he did the previous time. So a 2nd place for Melendez. He can be happy with that. But for Miguel Pero Lozaraga, at the moment, there is no stopping him.